Hello guys and girls, and welcome back to the channel. You join me, Phil, once again in sunny Eastbourne, and this time it's not about my car, it's about Martin's car. He's given me his RS development car armed with the 455 map to have a bit of a play. So the last time I did a video was about the 20th of May, something like that. We were in the midst of lockdown at the time, or just starting to be relaxed from lockdown, and I was running my car in. I'd done about 500 miles I think, and everything was going well. Everything is still good. Everything is still good. The plan was always that once the run-in was done, my car was going to go back to Martin. He wanted to do post checks, and it's also going to be having a few extra tweaks just to prep it for the new map that's going to be going on it. In a few weeks' time, I'm going to be taking a trip to velocity tuning with Martin. And that's sort of like the final tweaks on my car now that the engine is all running. So that's where we're at with my car. It's all good. I met Martin last week and we did a swapsies. Part of the reason that I ended up with his RS was so that I could test out the new maps that MJP have developed, the custom maps, and the other reason was because I refused point blank to take that Vauxhall Signum again. So he had to give me something. So those of you that have followed him on social media will be aware that MJ Performance has collaborated with Bruce from Devil's Own and with Tommy from Velocity Tuning, and between them they've created some custom software to apply to the Mark IIIs. There are two maps that they've developed: the 455, which is running, as you would expect, 455 horsepower. That's flywheel horsepower, and 706 newton meters of torque. And then there is the 505 map, which is running 810 newton meters of torque. And from what I understand, the torque was dialed down on both of those maps. There was room for a bit more. Now, the 455 map is perhaps a little bit more accessible to your run-of-the-mill, because you can run it on a standard engine, stock turbo, stock internals. A few bits of hardware are needed. Obviously you need a sport cat or decap, whichever your preference. You need an intercooler, induction kit, and you will need the water meth setup, which is provided by Bruce at Devil's Own. I think Martin with that map would recommend that you used a deck brace, but it's not essential. All the testing that's been done has been done on this car. This doesn't have a deck brace on it. It's handling it absolutely fine, no problems at all. If you wanted to go for the 505 map, I think that's still having some testing done, but it's very, very close to being finished. But that would be forged engine only. So they're the two options that are available. So I guess you want to know what it's like. It's good. I'm almost speechless. Bloody hell. The Honda just doesn't stand a chance. Bye bye. That is ridiculous. You have really got to hang on to this thing. God, this is fast. That is seriously fast. This is ridiculous. This is seriously fast. Seriously fast. You come out of a corner on a country road and it is off like a shot. The torque is just ridiculous. The other thing that's ridiculous is these brakes. They are just superb. You can realign planets with them. My God. This is some car. With this map on it, whew, I can feel the hairs on the back of my neck are stood to attention at the moment. This is mental fast. Absolutely insane. I can't see how much is going to keep up with a car like this down a road like this. And if you're looking for a map that's going to suit country lanes, your tracks, stuff like that, then this is it. This on a track, the way it comes out of a corner, nothing will be with you. Absolutely nothing will stay with you. Certainly any turbo car coming out of a corner is going to be waiting to get over that initial bit of lag, and then it might be off, but you'll already be halfway down the straight by then. God, this handles bloody hell. This thing is fast, seriously fast. I mean, it behaves like an extremely powerful, normally aspirated engine. You don't wait for anything. The power is instant. The torque is ridiculous. God. This is a serious car now. With these brakes, with this suspension setup, with this map, oh my God. It's relentless, absolutely relentless. You give it the beans, you're off. You change gear, you're off. There is no wait time. It's phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. You won't see it because of the car bouncing up and down, but my hands are still shaking from the adrenaline of that country road. It's unbelievable. Wow. If you haven't tried this map and you go and buy something else, big turbo or another map or something, I can guarantee you will regret that one day when you try this map. I personally don't think there is anything available for the Mark III that will excite like this does. It's really good. So I've now had it a week, and what's it like to live with? Well, really good actually. Obviously I drove back from Ringwood where we did swapsies. I spent the first 30 miles of that journey in traffic, unfortunately. Then I spent the next 10 miles or so in average speed cameras on the M27, and then since then I've done a few trips into town, do a bit of shopping, a few trips to drop my daughter to work, stuff like that, and it's great. It's to be honest, it's like the stock car. It doesn't feel any different. It's really civilized. It behaves impeccably when you're driving around town. It's not a handful. It's exactly like it was a stock. I've got no complaints. It behaves really nice. Then of course there's the other side to it. How does it perform? Right, so I've taken a little drive down towards one of my favourite country lanes. I've driven this country lane since I was a boy, and it's fantastic. And this is exactly the sort of territory that this car excels at. Whoa! Man, this thing is rapid. Seriously rapid. So there's a little bit of a straight coming up, and I'm sure I'll make light work of this Yaris. God, the adrenaline's going already. This car is really exciting. Really exciting, man. Bye bye little Yaris. Up to some double S's. That was 60 miles an hour tops, nothing more. God, this car handles well. Gee. Last corner. There's the exit. Oh, God. God, these brakes are good. Definitely enough fun. This thing seriously moves. Really, really moves. And I was short shifting. I really wasn't pushing it too far there. I was short shifting, but the pickup out of corners is astounding. Absolutely phenomenal. With the all-wheel drive system, with the fact that this is right down squatted low, running Cup 2 Michelins, so it's nice and sticky. We've got a dry day, we've got a nice road. God, this thing is awesome out the corners. Absolutely fantastic. God, I can't stop smiling. There's the exit. It's out of there like no one's business. Oh, Jesus. The quest for more power from these cars is obviously something that the whole Mark III community is trying to do, and there are various ways of doing it, one of which is the big turbo route, and that's great. And you know, the big turbos, they've made some really good gains with it. Equivalent to this map, definitely. But of course what comes with that is turbo lag. The bigger the turbo, the more the lag. And for me personally, I don't want turbo lag. I don't think it's desirable. You know, certainly in a track situation, every time you'd be slowing down for a chicane or a corner, and you come out of the corner and you put your foot down, you're waiting and waiting. One of the wonderful things about this, still being on the stock turbo, is the power is instant. I mean, it is there from the word go. And with 700 Newton meters of torque, my God, do you feel it. Now, if I look like I'm sweating, there's two reasons for that. Firstly, this car is just ridiculous. Second reason, Martin's let all the gas out of the aircon. So it's 20 degrees and I'm on a dual carriageway and you won't hear me if the window's shut, if the window's open. So I got to shut the window. So I'm partly doing this for your benefit, okay? But to be fair, I'm having quite a lot of fun at the same time. It's a very predictable power. In fact, if anything, the torque steer that you used to get is almost eliminated in this, because the torque kicks in so low down that you're not really going fast enough to experience it. I mean, I can't believe that this is the small map. This is the baby. I mean, if you've got a forged engine and you can go for the 505, then oh, it's incredible. Oh God! I tell you what, it's almost straining the neck muscles. What with that and the brakes. God, I love this car. Oh. If you want your RS to be quick, then this is the map. This is absolutely the map. It's incredible. Hats off, seriously, hats off to Martin, to Bruce, to Tommy. I mean, this is work of art, a masterpiece. It's just so usable, so usable, and so instant. Train. Oh, this is so much fun. I don't think I'm going to stop. I'll just carry all the way over to Plymouth and then just drive back just for the fun of it. Okay, so there's a serious smell of brakes going on now, so we'll just cool it down a little bit. I'm also coming up to 30-mile-an-hour speed limit, so calm it down. So what's it like to live with this? Easy. No probs at all. If you were using this as your daily, yeah, no probs at all. The great thing about this METH setup is you don't have to use it. It's there, it's primed, it's ready to go. But if I stay off a boost, I'm not using any. So for my pootling around town and my little general jaunts to the shops or whatever it might be, or even if you want to go to work and you don't want to affect your MPG too much, then you're not using METH because you're not on boost. So easy to live with. Now, before I forget to mention it, we need to give big congratulations to Rich and his family, because last week or so it was announced that Rich is going to be a granddad, which is fantastic, or as they say in Carrot Country, a grandfa. So that's wonderful. There's a new Psycho coming into the world. Great news. On that subject, there was some suggestion from Timmy D that now that you are old and a granddad, that the reactions aren't quite what they used to be, and that MJP were possibly looking for a new chief test driver. Now, I'm maybe putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 5 here, but as I got my new staff t-shirt and I have the keys to the development car, I am starting to wonder if it might be me that's in the frame. We'll see. And speaking of retirement, I can only assume that John Warren has also retired, because I didn't think that Martin could ever give me a car that was dirtier than the Signum. But if you see the state of this car, I was clearly wrong. So I hope you both enjoy your retirement. It's either that, or Martin understands my OCD so well that he figured he could save himself the cost of sending it to John Warren by giving it to me, knowing full well I was going to wash it. But we'll see. Okay, so I've brought you back to one of my favourite places. We were here with my last video, not far from the Beltoot Lighthouse. I've been looking through the social media posts and I noticed that there's quite a few questions that people ask. Often the same things come up over and over again. I also spoke to Martin, asked him some of the common questions he gets asked, and I'm going to try and answer them for you now as best I can. Okay. Yeah, so the METH system is used as an auxiliary fuel. So obviously you've got your normal petrol in the car, and instead of just using the METH for cooling purposes, it's also used as a fuel. So effectively what it's doing is it's increasing the octane of the fuel, therefore giving you a bigger bang, and this is how it's producing the power and torque that it's producing. The benefits to the METH system over other types, well, METH helps your engine to run cool. It's used as a cooling agent. It brings down engine temperatures, not by much, but enough to help. It also brings down the air temperatures that are going in, and obviously if the cooler the air being inducted into the engine, the denser the oxygen content, and therefore that helps to give you your bigger bang. The other benefit of running METH is that it helps to clean your engine. So with direct injection engines such as this one, it's very common to get carbon deposits building up on the top of the valves and stuff like that. In worst case scenario, you could, if it got really caked up, have a little chunk of carbon come off of the valve, go down into the engine, could score the inside of the bore or something like that. It's not a good thing to have a dirty engine, and the METH will help clean it. So yes, it's beneficial from a cooling aspect, and it's beneficial from a cleaning aspect. Okay, so how is it different? Well, for both maps, the 445 and the 505, this utilises the standard turbo. Other manufacturers so far have not gone down that route to try and squeeze what they can out of the standard turbo. This one utilises standard turbo. The other great thing, certainly with the 455 map, is that you don't require a forged engine to go that high with the power. The testing's been done on this car. Everything is fine. The engine is handling it no problem. So it differs in that way. Yes is the short answer. It's got to be a minimum of 99 RON fuel. In my area, the only places that do that is Tesco's Momentum and Shell V-Power. I tend to stick to Shell V-Power. I think it's a better quality fuel. I know it varies from area to area. When I've gone on holiday, who's offering 99, but you put a 97 RON in it, it's not going to run the same. The power figures and everything that has been achieved has been done with 99 RON. Yeah, well, it's as safe as anything else out there on the market. possibly safer because of the cooling and cleaning effects that the METH has on the engine. With any modification that you do to an engine, there's always risks involved. Forging an engine does not make it bulletproof. It can still blow just like any other engine. But as far as safety goes, this map equally as safe, if not more so, than anything else on the market. Well, no more so than any other map or modification you choose to do. Obviously, if you're going to increase the horsepower of a vehicle, then regardless of what map you've used, regardless of what mods you've used, there is always going to be more strain being put on the components. So there is no more danger in using this map than there is using anything else. Yeah, there can be some variance between applications, and it may involve taking the vehicle to velocity tuning to have some tweaks. For example, you know, the conversion on my car has got a 2 litre block, so that may need tweaking more so than on the EcoBoost block. So it could change from vehicle to vehicle, but obviously if you're having the work done by Martin, then he'll advise you on that accordingly. Yes, you will see pretty much the same figures that the demo car is making. Obviously there's going to be slight variations depending on the hardware that you're using, but yes, you should be hitting pretty much the same torque figures, horsepower figures as the demo car does, yes. Right, yeah, so hardware. Yeah, for both applications, the 455 and the 505, you're going to need an induction kit. You're going to need an intercooler with charge pipes. You're going to need a sports exhaust with a sport cat or a D cat, whatever your preference might be. And you're going to need the METH setup, which involves obviously the 5 nozzle injection system, the tank, the pump, and obviously it's all got to be plumbed in as well. If you're going to go for the 505 map, then you're going to have the engine forged as well. Yeah, so there's lots of options available. Everything that Martin does is sort of fairly bespoke. As far as your hardware options goes, the sky's the limit pretty much. As far as the METH setup options goes, you've got different tank sizes. The tank size that you see in the demo car and in my car is the 11 litre race tank. They do a bigger race tank. They also do smaller tanks if you wanted to preserve boot space and so on. Obviously, if you're going to have a smaller tank, then you're going to need to be topping it up more frequently. There's also variants on the pipes that you can use. On this car, there is the 3 colours available in the nylon pipes, which is the blue, the clear and the black. And on my car, there is the braided lines. So there's a few options on that. Yeah, right. So that depends obviously on how you drive. If you're not on boost, you're not using any METH at all. Based on my experience having this car for a week, with the drive back from Ringwood, with going around doing the test drive, as you know, I was using it to its fullest, shall we say. It can go down to as low as 1 litre for every 10 miles if you're on it. The cost of METH is roughly £2 a litre, roughly. And obviously the miles per gallon for your fuel is pretty much the same as it was, certainly for me when I was running stage 2. I'm getting the same sort of MPG with this car as I was with my car. So in addition to that MPG, you've then got the use of the METH as well. So really it's down to how you drive it. as to how much you're going to use. Yeah, so widely available to buy online. I would certainly recommend, and I know Martin would as well, that you get it from Bruce at Devil's Own. The quality of the meth from Bruce is absolutely top notch. I certainly won't buy from anywhere else, but obviously it's up to you where you want to get it from. You do need to avoid running the tank too low. If the tank gets too low and you start drawing air into the system, then it may be that you end up needing to have the system bled to get the airlocks out of it in order for it to then run properly after that. However, if this does happen, then it's not the end of the world. There is a kill switch in the car, which I'll show you a picture of. I'm sure Tim can bring it up on the screen now, of where you can turn the meth off. And with the package that's supplied by Martin, you will get like a little control box which has your maps on it. This plugs into the OBD port, very easy to follow on screen instructions. So if you've run out of meth, you can pull in at the side of the road, you can switch the meth off at the kill switch on the dashboard, you can plug this into your OBD port, and you can change it to run on a normal petrol map. So it can get you out of trouble if you need it. Personally, what I like to do is keep meth in the boot. I get just like a 10-litre jerry can if I was going on a long journey, chuck that in the boot as well, and then I can top up. The reason I do that is because I don't want to have to switch to a normal map. I want this all the time. But all is not lost if it happens, but try to avoid it. Right, yeah, so that very much depends on how much work's got to be done. If you currently have a completely standard Mark III RS and you want to get it up to, say, the 505 standard, then it's not going to be a quick install, because you've got the forged engine that you've got to deal with, you've got the meth kit that's got to be fitted into the car. It's not a simple job to fit the meth kit. It has to run all the way from the boot to the engine bay, which means stripping out half of the interior. You've got to obviously run your wires and your pipes up to the control box on the dashboard. There's quite a lot of work involved. So if you're going from square one all the way to the 505, it could take a while. It really depends how much you've already got to begin with as to how long it's going to take. Your best bet is phone Martin and speak to him. He'll be able to give you a much more accurate idea of how long it would take. But don't expect to drop it in Monday morning and pick it up Tuesday evening. Okay. Again, much like the time frame of the job, it depends on where you're starting from. If you're in a bog standard car, then you've got all of the hardware, all of the software and all of the labour in order to get yourself up to this standard. If you've already got all of the hardware and all you've got to do is the meth in addition, and you've already got the forged engine, then obviously it's going to be much cheaper. I can't give you prices myself, but if you phone Martin, talk to him, he will be able to discuss what you need, what you don't need, what options you have, and then you can get prices through him from that. Another example of why prices can vary so much is because you could choose to go for a spec R intercooler, which I think is about 1,700 quid. You may on the other hand choose to go for an AirTech intercooler, which is perhaps more like 500 quid. There's so many variables. The braided lines are more expensive than the coloured nylon lines. There's so many variables, I can't give you the price. But if you phone Martin, I know he is happy to talk to you about what you want, and then he can come back to you with prices. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, a thumbs up would be much appreciated. If you like this channel and you want to see more content from it, please subscribe, hit the bell button so you can get all the notifications. Don't forget, The video of my car going up to velocity tuning will be posted in a few weeks' time or so. I think that one's going to be a really good video. I'm looking forward to going there and doing that with Martin. That's going to be great. In the meantime, I hope you guys will stay safe and take care of yourselves.